Hi, welcome to the channel. I'm Rod, and this is Life Beyond the Speed Limit. Why speed limit? Because I'm over 55. Get it? Anyway, in this video, we'll talk about the 5 things you shouldn't do now that you're 55 and over, maybe even 50. Now, these things that I'll tell you come from personal experience and observations of those in my age bracket. All right. The first thing you should not do now that you're over 50 is don't pretend that you are in your 20s or 30s, maybe even 40s. It's not just physical, it's everything else. Don't pretend to know what young people are into. Don't even try. They will just give you the dirty looks or give you the odd eye. Now, of course, if you're going to debate with somebody like a Gen Z or even Alpha generation, you will have more knowledge. You will probably win the debate based on what you know and how to argue. I'm sure you have better logical skills than those people are in their teens and in their 20s. So I'm just talking about don't pretend that you're in your 20s, 30s, basically anything that's physical. Don't try a new sport. Don't try to get into basketball. Don't even try to get into pickleball. That's another video topic. What you need to do is be yourself and what you're good at. If you're not good at any sports, that's fine. Start something easy, if you will. If you want to start a sport, just go to the gym, exercise. Maybe the only thing acceptable outside of 55 will probably be golf. So that's one thing that's acceptable. But don't pretend that your body is in your 20s and 30s. Your body will regret it, so will your doctor, and so will your loved ones. They'll say, why are you starting this? You're too old for this. Accept it, guys. We are at this age. So along with that, don't pretend that your 20s and 30s is basically overall, don't compete. Stay in your own bracket, if you will. The second tip that you should not do at 55 and over or 50 and over is don't tell stories about when you were in your 20s, especially the people that are in their 20s. No one wants to hear how you walked in the snow to go to school. No one wants to know how you did this and did that without any tools, without the internet. I always like to tell my son, I did a thesis without a mouse and a computer that has green screen and using diskettes. What are diskettes? I forgot. Anyway, so don't tell the stories of how you did things in their 20s because young people today cannot and will not relate to what you did or how we did things back then. Today, everything is easier, simpler, and it's because of people like us. We invented things for the young people to have a better life, an easier life. It's because of us, their life is easier. Is it easier for us? Definitely. But they didn't know how to watching a movie on VHS or Betamax. They don't know how that we had to stand up, go to the console or the machine, press stop, press rewind, press stop, and press play again just to go back to a scene. And you know what I just did? I just told the story of what not to do. See how boring it is? So just accept technology, accept what's ever happening today, and don't say, back then we did these things this way. Nah, they don't want to hear that. Unless they're your grandchildren. And the third thing that you should not do at 55 is actually the hardest thing to do. Don't talk about politics. Don't be that Republican in a family of Democrats, or in reverse, don't be the Democrat in a family of Republicans. In other words, also, but because I'm from the Philippines, don't talk about the opposition if your family or that person is with whoever's in power right now. If you, at a certain age, at our age, we tend to stick to what we believed in back in our 20s. And today, things are evolving. There's the woke generation in the Western world. They're more vocal. And because of social media and the internet, everybody can say their piece and much louder in that sense than us. We had to wait for the news at 6 p.m., at 11 p.m. We had to wait at the mail for actual mail. See? And we had to wait for memos to be hand-delivered to us. Today, everything is at not even a snail pace, it's at a lightning speed. So the information today is much faster, and people tend to speak their mind freer now, if you will. So if you're going to talk about your politics, because your politics right now is the politics of what you were in your 20s. Very rare that somebody changes sides. Very rare. And they probably only do that for convenience. So don't talk about politics. Respect other people. And if somebody starts talking about, who is the president right now or who you favor, who did you vote for, just say, change the topic right away. Talk about the sun. The only thing you can talk about rivalries or be steadfast in it is sports teams. Like for me, I'm a Niners fan throughout. And if I see a Dallas Cowboys fans, I would rather talk first and shake hands. No, I'm just kidding. I respect everybody except the Cowboys. All right. The next thing that you should not do at 55 is the subtopic or corollary to the first tip of pretending that you're in your 20s and 30s. The fourth tip I'll give you is what not to do now that you're over your 50s or that you're in your 50s is start a new sport. Physically, we can't do that. Our body can't do that. They cannot know muscles that weren't there before. We have muscle memory of what we have done in the last 30, 20 years. So starting a new sport is going to create new muscles that you've never even heard of, and your body doesn't know how to cope with. And right now, I think in the 2024, the trend was running. Now, if you're in your 20s, 30s, running's okay. But in your 50s, running, that's only if you're late for the meeting. That's the only time you can run. So I wouldn't suggest that. Now, are there sports that you can try? Of course you can, but make sure that they're not as physical as what young people can do today. Think of less strenuous sports, maybe take up pool or billiards. Maybe bowling is good. I'm not endorsing these sports, but just pick a sport that your body will ease into it. Don't try a strenuous sports. But then if you do, make sure you get the proper training, do your proper stretching first, and make sure you have your knee pads, and of course, the most important thing is having Bengay in your sports bag. Now, this last tip that you should not do at 55 is the most horrendous, obnoxious thing that you should do now that you are in your 50s. And if I catch you doing this, I will take your phone away or give you free earphones. Now, please, when in public, do not ever use your phone's loudspeaker when you're talking to someone. Even if it's a video call or audio call, do not use the loudspeaker. Use a phone the way a phone should be. Phone to ear, and listen carefully. Please, don't watch Netflix, don't watch this YouTube on loudspeaker. My voice is terrible. It's best on an earphone or at home. So please, if you do use your loudspeaker, people will give you strange looks, mean looks, remember your face. They may even record you and put you on TikTok to see how bad and obnoxious it is to use the phone's loudspeaker. At the same time, it's a privacy issue. That is that person that you're talking to, do they want to be heard over the loudspeaker when 30 people are talking to you or 30 people are listening to you? All right? Now, please, you can really buy cheap wired earphones for like $5 or less than 200 pesos. Even the cheap ones. Please, again, save your reputation, save your face, save yourself from being recorded on TikTok. Do not use the phone's loudspeaker. All right? I hope you learned something from this video. If you will, please help me out. Please subscribe, like, and share this video if you can. It'll help my channel grow. And if you I have another video in the description below. It's called 5 Things I Should Have Done at 25 to Prepare Myself at 55. Hi, please do me a favor and smash that like button. It'll help me a lot and it will trigger the YouTube algorithm. Now, if you have not yet, please subscribe to my channel. If you don't, my dog will eat this exam booklet and that student has to repeat his final exam again.